let's get right into it here.
Yeah.
If you could go back 20 years and tell 5-year-old Joe that you'd be a professional hockey player, what would he say?
Dude, that's the coolest thing ever, man. Probably something along those lines.
Yeah.
Being so young, 5 years old, all I wanted to do and still want to do is, be on the ice every single day, all the time, as much as you can. And whether it was taking your first steps on the ice, falling down, or, running into the boards or scoring a goal, or being taught something new, a new skill to add to your talent level. It's always something special. And if I could go back and tell myself that, I would probably say that's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. The whole mental side of hockey, was that something that you were aware of growing up, or when did that really become a factor into your play?
It was not something that I was aware of until probably 13, 14 years old. My dad would kind of tell me to start mentally preparing for games, like visualizing what I needed to do, what the team needed to do in order to have success. And then as I grew older with the sport, I realized how much more mental preparation was a huge factor before the game, during the game, and even post game as well. The amount of time and effort that actually is spent with it is something that I think people kind of undervalue.
100%. I read so many sports psychology or mental toughness books, and they all say training your mind is just as valuable as training your body. And as a professional athlete, you can't be the best who you are without having both firing on all cylinders.
100%. Couldn't agree more, honestly. And that's the cold-hearted truth of it. It goes from your mental preparation, and that builds into your sleep cycle, that builds into your nutrition, and that builds into your workout time, and goes along with time management pretty much.
Yeah. Walk me through a bit earlier on in your career. I know you played some time in the USHL.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too familiar with the junior system in the States. I have more context, of course, in Canada, but I know in Canada and the CHL, it can get a lot of media attention and a lot of fan hypes and all the scouts and everything. So just walk me through a bit about your experience playing junior hockey in the States. If you felt any sort of pressure from fans or media, or, start to realize that professional hockey or in your case, D1 hockey is starting to be, come to fruition. Just what was that experience with that?
So yeah, I didn't really know how much media affected your a sport, in the sense of not so much your preparation and what you do, but just how much they're involved with the sport until junior hockey. And that really started probably when I played for the New Jersey Rockets, junior B, junior A, before I went to the USHL. They would have a small reporter do a in between period interview and little thing like that. And then when I got out to the USHL and to see all the newspaper people that were around, and the amount of people that called in for different articles around the United States, it's something that you have to adapt to. You kind of get thrown into the fire because you never did it before, and then you pick up on it, you adapt, you learn new things, you know what you can say, what you can't say, pretty much the guidelines. Because I know a lot of kids are new to it, and when the reporter asks a question, sometimes the kids think that they're physically asking them about them as an individual, and sometimes they run with it, and it could sometimes get taken out of context. And that's the media's job. They do what they need to do, but sometimes players get taken advantage of in that sense because they don't know, they're new to it. But I think the USHL was a good stepping stone for me with the whole media process. And then when I got to college, we actually had a seminar with the college hockey team at Lowell on media and how to respond and answer questions properly. But the USHL for me was a really big stepping stone and growing stage. It was my first time living away from home. The first time I got sent out to the USHL, I was told to go to the Tri-City Storm. And I remember it was yesterday. It was in December, a couple days before my birthday. I was born on the 6th. I got sent out, and I thought I was going for good. My coach had told me pack my bags for good. And the day I flew out there, they fired their coach. And so when I landed, I knew I was going into a tough spot to begin with. I had 3 practices, and then I had a meeting with the GM and new head coach, and they said they weren't adding anybody to the roster, and they sent me back home. On top of that, I lost my cousin while I was on the trip. He had passed away. So it was just a whole tough first experience. I was there for 4 days, got sent home. Then about a month later, Des Moines called, and I was out in Des Moines. And I didn't know. Again, I packed heavily thinking I was staying. And thankfully, I was able to. I remember my billet family greeted me at the airport, and I clicked like this with my billet family right away. Yeah. We hit it off, and that was a huge growing stage for me because I never lived away from home. I'm a New York City kid. You know, I had the baggy sweats and the hoodie, and and living in the Midwest was a life changing for me. I got to really see the talent that the United States has to offer in the league. Plus, I got to learn living in the country lifestyle and where I started wearing a lot more jeans. That was one. Yeah. And get to see new things, honestly, because playing in New York, you're in your own backyard, so you don't really get to see the talent level that's out there. But the USHL is the best league in the United States to be in, to prep you for college or pro, whatever path you choose. And I got to see all the talent like that was around the United States, and even some kids from Canada that came in that don't go to the O. And you really say to yourself, wow, okay, like now I'm out here with the best of the best, and now let's really put myself to the test. So I think the USHL was a really good growing and stepping stone for me from media standpoint, development standpoint, and maturity standpoint.
Yeah. I always talk with athletes about how much, sports and your personal life blend into each other, where if you grow in one aspect, it bleeds into the other. And like a lot of things like you mentioned, like especially moving away from home, because I'm Italian. I know you're a Goomba as well, and very family oriented, right? And so I got to imagine that whole moving away from home at such a young age. Because, of course, Italian families, they want you to stay home as long as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Extremely. Like we're Italians are extremely close. Holidays are a big deal. Even the smallest holiday, like Easter, you still have a gathering of 60, minimum 60 people. Like, and for me, that was like the hardest thing. I got sent out right after New Year, so I kind of got to like have one last Christmas and New Year's with my family, and Thanksgiving, and then after New Year's, I was like, all right. There's no really major holidays that I'm missing. And then I wound up being out there for Easter too. And that was my first holiday away from home. And I got like a gut feeling in my stomach, like where I got like homesick kind of, because I was like, oh my God, like this is my first holiday I'm missing from my family. But my billet family like made it special. I had a billet brother at the time who was 6. And so we did like an Easter egg hunt around the house. So like then they invited some of their friends over for dinner. So it kind of filled the gap a little bit. Obviously you can never fill a gap as big as an Italian family, but they did their best to really make it like feel comfortable. And just after that and New Year's and Thanksgivings and stuff like that was always hard for a while. And then, but there's one thing that you realize is that your hockey is a family in itself, your team. Yeah. You're going through it, but so are they as well. There's the very odd occasion where you get a kid that's from their hometown that gets to go home every so often, like for his holiday. And I got to say, over my career, I've been very lucky where those kids have opened up their houses to us. So like I'd go to a friend's house, like stay at his parents' house for dinner. We'd hang out there for the day, like just so because nobody should be alone on a holiday. Right. Like that. And that's especially, us Italians, we invite strangers from down the street and to come in and wait around. So I got to say, like that was definitely difficult at first, living away from home at such a young age and feeling like you have FOMO, fear of missing out on so many big family events and occasions. But as much as like I grew away from being away from home, so did technology and the availability to FaceTime and call. And so like I think that was a huge thing that was able to keep me close to my family being away.
Yeah, I know. I always, it's hard enough for us in this day of age to be away from family with all the technology. And I always, tip my hat to the kids 20, 30 years ago where they didn't have FaceTime. They didn't have texting. They didn't have cell phones. And they're really, really on their own. It really goes to show you as a professional athlete that the level of sacrifices you have to get through in order to get to where you want to be.
100%. And speaking of sacrifices, I played high school hockey growing up for 3 years. And then after my third year, the travel coach I was playing for said, all right, if you really want to, do you want to be a hockey player or do you want to just play hockey? Yeah. And I said I wanted to be a hockey player. And he goes, well, you got to get out of your backyard and you can't play high school hockey because it's not going to grow you or develop you. So that was when I made the first jump to go play juniors. And my high school was not happy with it. some of my friends like weren't as nice to me, like because I wasn't playing. But my best friends that I met before high school, went into high school, are still my best friends today that are in my bridal party and stuck with me in my decision making. And they always say your real ones will stay true to you and be there for you.
Yeah.
And they were. The only thing that I not regret, because I don't have any regrets. The only thing that I wish I could have done was when I was a senior, my brother was a freshman. Oh, sorry. I don't know. There you go. My brother was a senior when I was a senior. My brother was a freshman, and I would have had a chance to play with him. But luckily, the following year, before I went out to the USHL, I got to play with him at the Junior Rockets for a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, you talking about like how people may have reacted negatively. I think that really highlights, as athletes, you really have to get used to only worrying about what you can control. How other people react to your situations, how other people judge you, whether decisions you make or your play on the ice, those are things you can't control. All you can really control is what you do with yourself and how happy you are with yourself. And, you know, aside from your family, of course, really the only thing that should matter is how you feel about everything.
100%. And that's the God honest truth. I think you probably hit it best when you said control what you can. Like, there's factors in life that you're going to be able to not be able to change. And you have to be able to really digest them and accept that you physically can't do anything about it. But then there's other factors that you as a person, as an individual, can control. And those are the things that you need to worry about in life. Control what you can, and everything else will take care of itself. Everything else will fall into place the way it's supposed to. And nowadays you see a lot of people trying to do too much. And that kind of goes into the hockey and the way, so we have a system, and our system is designed that it's a 5-man system, 6 with the goalie. But it's a 5-man system. Everybody do your job. Sometimes you try to pick somebody else's job up and you leave your job off, you know, but that goes into control what you can.
Yeah. Thinking about things that you can't control, one of them is usually injuries. And I know, was it 2012 or 2013, you had a pretty serious injury where you broke your left cheek, your sinus, your orbital bone, the whole jazz and everything. Walk me through just your whole mindset with that, because it's never fun for anybody to get injured. But as an athlete, you know, you're missing out on development time, on working on your game on the ice. It's got to be a tough pill to swallow as an athlete. So just walk me through a bit about your mindset through that whole injury.
So I graduated high school in 2011. I went out to the USHL in 2012. I did the half year. Then I went back out for a full year, 2013. And December 27th, we just returned from Christmas break. We got to go home for 2 days. I came back from New York on Christmas night, practiced the 26th. We played the 27th. And I think it was the second period when I'd stepped onto the ice, got in front of a shot, and the kid took a slap shot and hit me right directly in the face. I wasn't in pain right away. It hit, and I guess the adrenaline had made it all, and I had gone straight off. My face was absolutely leaking, and got off. And when I laid down, and the doctor had come in to stitch me up, and I was like, "Doc, how bad is it?" And he's like, "All right, well, right now, all I can tell you right now is that your nose is busted, and I'm giving you about 30 stitches." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "All right, that's okay, I guess." But then when he stitched me up, I couldn't open my left eye. And, all the trainers and the owner of the team and the manager were in the locker room with me, and it happened on home ice in Des Moines, thank God. And he's like, "All right, well, you're done for the night. You got to go get x-rays and stuff." And I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." And he's like, "Well, you have to." And I was like, "I'm not." I was like, "I don't know what's the situation with my eye. If this is the last game I'm ever going to play, I'm finishing this game." And he was like, "I can't let you do that. It's too much of a liability or risk." And I said, "Do whatever you need to do. Put a cage on, put a bowl on it. I don't care what it is. I'm finishing this game no matter what." And I sent my parents a picture with the thumbs up, letting them know that I'm okay, because they were watching on TV in New York. And they were blowing up my phone and stuff. And so I said, I know that it being Italian, how mom and dads can be. They get a little crazy, a small little scratch. Yeah. And I sent them a picture, giving them a thumbs up with my eyes shut. And I said, "I'm going back out. See you on TV soon." And after the game, I had tons of freaking messages from them blowing me up saying, "Are you crazy? You dumb, you dumb, you dumb." So I finished the game. I remember lining up for the face-off against a kid that I played with the Rockets with. He was playing on Cedar Rapids at the time. and I couldn't take the draw because I physically couldn't see the puck that well.
Wow.
So I had to play wing, and I was playing left wing. My friend was playing right wing, so we lined up against each other. So I'm lined up at the face-off like this, looking straight, and he goes, "Joe, can you see me?" And I was like, "I can't see anything to my left side right now." We finished the game. And it was my turn to sign autographs. Shockingly, I don't know how that stuff manages to work out, but it does. And they were like, "All right, go to the hospital." I said, "No, the fans are here. I'm going to sign the autographs and do what I need to do as a player. That's my responsibility."
Yeah.
And so I signed all the autographs. I was there for like another 2 hours. And then I finally got to go to the hospital. And that's where they determined that I needed emergency surgery on my face. And my mom actually jumped out on the red eye. And she was there by the time I woke up the next morning out of surgery. But I had 2 plates and 6 screws on the left side of my face.
So you didn't even doubt for a second that you were not going to finish that game. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it wasn't a doubt in my mind, because I thought, God forbid, that was my last game, that I wanted to be able to complete it no matter what it took. I started something and I wanted to finish it. And then when I woke up from surgery, the doctor's first words to me were, "Joe, half an inch higher and you would have lost your eye."
Wow.
And those were like, I was like, all right, well, I feel okay. Thanks, doc. Like, I'm awake, but what a way to wake me up.
Right.
But until this day, I always think of everything like half inch, like just like that. And then I went, it comes in a cliche because the Mighty Duck movie, when Charlie Conway hits the post, or not Charlie, Gordon, he says like quarter of an inch. And so it's like, it just shows you that in life, really, like the smallest little change could have such a big dramatic effect on you in anything in life.
That's crazy, because I can sprain an ankle and I'm crying about it on the sideline, and here you are making me look like a little wimp. But I mean, that's the kind of mentality you need, though, right? As a professional,
as a hockey player, yes,
especially hockey.
You have responsibility, and you have a duty and a responsibility to the organization, to the community, to your teammates, but also yourself as well. And the recovery process, once I had gotten out of surgery and I stood the extra day for observation, I wanted to get back to New York to see an eye specialist, because I didn't know any of the doctors too well in Iowa. So I had flown back to New York once I was cleared and the swelling went down, to go see an eye specialist. He helped me through my recovery process. I would see him twice a week for 8 weeks. And I was home. I couldn't work out until 4 weeks because the pressure on my face, like, they didn't want anything shifting. So for 4 weeks, I was sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah. Just playing some chill.
Pretty much, man. That's all I was doing. And I was actually reading a bunch of books, because I had just committed to Lowell 4 days before the injury.
Right.
And I was on my dad's birthday that I had committed.
Nice.
And so I was home, I was reading books, and my friends would always send me gag gifts, they'd send me, being that we were the Buccaneers, and then I finally was able to start working out again. I started outside for bike rides, and it was freezing cold in New York, but it felt good to get out and about, and my dad helped me get on my feet. And then I went to the doctor February 13th, and he said, "All right, you good to go back?" February 14th, I got a phone call from my organization that they traded the captain and they made me captain. And February 15th, I was back out on the ice as the captain.
That's crazy. That's such a crazy story. It all ended up paying off for you, obviously committing to UMass and killing it there. And I know during your time there, you got the Walter Brown Award. Was it top American in New England?
Yes.
I think I got that right. When when you look back or even in the moment, getting a reward as prestigious as that, what do you like? What are your emotions? Right? Obviously, you're happy and stuff, but I think for a lot of people, it's a little cliche of like, once you get to the top of the mountain, they kind of take it easy a bit, take their foot off the pedal. But of course, you can't have that mindset at all in sports. As soon as you get one award, it's on to the next one. Right.
Yeah, you probably hit the nail on the head. And for me, it wasn't getting to the top of the mountain, because for me, I'm still climbing the mountain.
Yeah.
And I think there was a saying I heard growing up that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And to me, that goes into life, but more so like with hockey, we're climbing that mountain. And when you're satisfied, that's when you start declining. And every day you need to wake up with the mindset that you want to get better. You want to get that 1% better every day. And the days that you want to be at the rink, you want to be on the ice, workout room, video, whatever it is, of the days you're going to get better. And after receiving that award, obviously I was extremely honored for it, and I couldn't believe it. But none of that comes without any of the success that I've had with my teammates. Like it's nothing individually comes without team success. You know, individual success comes with team success, and I'm a big believer in that because I'm not the one out there doing everything. You know, I have 4 other guys on the same ice as me, and I also have 19 other guys that are working for the same goal that I am. You know, and that was I was fortunate enough and grateful to play with some really big guys in my college career. I played with my freshman year, Ryan McGrath, Derek Arnold, who refs now in the East Coast AHL, and then I was able to play with CJ Smith, who plays in the Buffalo Sabres organization. I played with Michael Loria, who now graduated RMU. He has a job. Played with Johnny Edward, who plays in the ECHL/AHL. So I've had the privilege of playing with some really unique, talented, and crafted hockey players. And without them, I don't get any of the awards that I received throughout my career. And that also ties into the coaching staff. Because as much as I'm going out there doing it, we need the plan to execute. And without the coaching staff and the development and the time that they put in to help us vision our goals and to come up with a certain plan and a path to attack them, without them, I wouldn't be able to have any of the success that I've been able to, fortunate enough, we have.
In your freshman year, did you guys have Connor in that team as well? Connor Hellebuck?
Mm-hmm.
Your goalie then? Yeah, I thought so.
Yep. No, we had Connor Hellebuck, and
stack team.
I happened to play my first NHL game against
against Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that in a second. I wanted to touch on one more thing at your time at UMass. Whole concept of losing in the playoffs. I know you guys had some stacked teams and you did well in some of the playoffs, but never really making it to the final dance, right?
Yeah.
As a hockey player, how did you kind of overcome, any sort of mad emotion, sad emotion, disappointment, whatever it was, after a playoff loss like that?
So freshman year, we went to the Hockey East Championship, had a great stacked team. We had Connor Hellebuck, Scott Wilson, Derek Arnold, Christian Folan, Derek Carley. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
We won the Hockey East, and then we get to the regionals. We win 2-1 against Minnesota State. Then we got to play BC, the big rivalry, and we came up short.
They had Johnny Hockey at that time, right?
They had Johnny Hockey. They had Kevin Hayes. What was there? There was another kid that was signed by Calgary. Something Arnold. I can't think of his first name. He was signed by Calgary at the time, and they wound up beating us 3-2 or 4-3, and that told the story for the year. And as a freshman, you got to take it all in because you still have 3 more years. But at the same time, the seniors they'll never be able to play another college game, and they really help you grow and develop into the program and turn you into the player that you wound up graduating with. And sophomore year, we made it to the Hockey East Championship again, and that was when we played against Jack Eichel, Jordan Greenway, Fortunato, and all those Rodriguez, the O'Regan, the whole nine. And we needed to win to get into the tournament, and we lost, I think, 5-3 in the final in the Hockey East Championship. So we lost, didn't make the tournament. Our season was over, and obviously there's some bitter taste in your mouth when you finish like that and you get that close to just getting in, and unfortunately you don't. So that goes into your training program. All the times that you step in the gym, you always have that taste in your mouth. That's how the season ended, and you guys want to hit the ground running, and that's your motivation factor to start the new season pretty much. And junior year comes around, great team once again, make it to the Hockey East Championship. The semi, we played the night before against Providence, and we went to 3 overtimes with them, and puck had hit AJ White's skate and went in, and it was a questionable call on the ice, and it got reviewed, and we wound up winning it to move on to the championship, play Northeastern. And we were already in the tournament whether we won or lost. We wound up losing against Northeastern, but we knew that we still had another chance to do something, get to the regional final. We played, I don't remember who we played my first game. We played not UMH, Yale. We played Yale and went into overtime with Yale. We won. Now we move on to Quinnipiac, and Quinnipiac was unbelievably
Legit.
skilled. Yeah, the Cliftons, and I couldn't even remember all the guys' names, but some big names that they had that moved on to have successful careers nowadays. And I think they walked right past us. I think 5-1. Sam Honest was on that team, and that was our season. And now senior year, you're like, all right, this is it. And throughout the first 3 years, we had an unbelievable squad. Every time we still feel that we could have went to the Frozen Four.
Yeah.
And senior year comes around, we make it back to the Hockey East Championship. And this time we said, all right, well, we ain't having no other answer. Like, we're winning this. Like, we got to go in with that mindset. And we beat BC to take the Hockey East, and then went to the finals, and we played Cornell. And in the first shift, they scored, but it got called off for a high stick. And that was kind of our wake-up call, and we feel that was kind of like the game changer for us, was when that goal got called back and kind of gave us a restart button. Like, all right, we got to wake up. Like, and we were fortunate enough to win that game. And then we played Notre Dame, and we played them in the hockey semi-championship. So we had played them probably 3 or 4 times in a matter of a 4-week span. And they had our number in the regional final. They beat us in the overtime. And from there on, you're just like, well, now your college career is over. And
Yeah.
I had just written my resume to start sending out to jobs, because I didn't know what was going to happen after college. And for me, growing up, all I wanted was just a college education. NHL was just a dream. But obviously you work towards your dream. And once the game was over, my agent had told me what was on the table, and I couldn't believe it. So I kind of just put my resume back in the folder a little bit. And I am where I am today, thank God, and very humble and grateful for where I am.
Does that senior season loss sting the most, getting bounced in the playoffs, or did one of the earlier two sting more?
I think every single one takes a little dagger at you, because you put in so much time, hard work, and effort. And with college, guys ain't going to be able to come back because they're graduating or they're signing pro or just don't want to do the hockey deal anymore. And so everyone's stung, because you grow such special bonds and relationships with these guys, and you're never probably going to see most of them again. That's something else where you keep in touch and stuff, but to run into each other is tough. And then senior one's always probably the toughest, because you're not going to be able to put that jersey on ever again. You're also graduating with your class and your senior classmates, and you know that you'll never be on the ice with them again, and you'll always be in touch and stuff. But that one definitely stings the most, just because of the bonds that you build with your freshmen, with your senior class, from freshman year, sophomore year, junior. You guys go through all these challenges and rivals and get over all these hurdles together, and then it's over before you know it. And after the game, you sit in the locker room like guys do now when they lose like a playoff series. You sit in the locker room for like an hours on end, just in your gear, like don't want to face reality.
Yeah.
I definitely think senior year probably stung the most.
Yeah. It all paid off at the end, though, like you said, getting signed eventually to the Edmonton Oilers organization. And I know you spent some time the Young Stars Classic. You were the captain of that team. I can't remember. Was that your rookie year? Was it, or was that a year after?
Rookie year.
Rookie year, yeah. So I'm just really curious on your mindset as a captain in a situation like that, because typically as a captain, you have a whole season to work with. The guys that you're on the same team with are going to be with you for most of the year. Rookie camp is totally different. You don't know where anybody's going to be in a week or two, right? So as a captain, How did you approach that situation?
So first off, I was extremely blessed that I was able to put the C on for the Edmonton Oilers the rookie camp to start off. I walked into the locker room and I couldn't believe it. I was extremely blessed and honored, and not to mention I was probably the oldest one there. I was like a grandpa to some of those kids because I took the college route.
Yeah.
But it was an honor, and like you said, you don't know where anyone's going to be in a week or two, but you can't focus on where someone's going to be in a future standpoint. You have to focus on the here and now and what was going on at that point. And we all knew like we were just trying to make the organization look good, play as a team, and more so like obviously we were there for our tryout as well. So you're trying to make sure that you're hitting all these little checkpoints, and that was just something that I tried to instill in the guys. Like, don't do too much. We're all new here. We've been on the ice for one day before we got to actually play our some guys haven't skated for a while. No matter what we're doing, we have to stick together. Don't drift away from your game plan, from what you do as a player, what you bring to the team. Don't try to do too much because of who's in the stands watching and stuff like that. And I think the team took that extremely well, and we just ran with it. We were fortunate enough; we went undefeated in the series down there, and we had in Penticton, I think it was, and it was a blast for us. It's like, so we were having success, but at the same time, we were also having fun with it as well. And I think that's just because everyone knew their role, knew what they needed to do, and stuck and played their role to a T. And that was what was able to help contribute to our success. And as a captain, like in a situation like that, the only thing you can do is just focus on the little things to make sure that your team is going. You're not going to make a drastic Stanley Cup run, obviously, but you use that as like a little playoff series for yourself. You say, all right, guys, we got 3 games here. Let's try to win out go 3-0. And we were able to do that, and everybody bought into that process.
Yeah. It all, I keep saying this again in our interview, but everything's paying off for you, because I know last year you got your NHL debut, you got your call up to the Oilers, and I know you've told the story a bunch of times how the coach pulled you aside, seeing getting called up and everything. I'm really interested in kind of hearing about your mindset walking into that dressing room for the first time as Edmonton Oiler, because one day you're in the AHL doing your thing, the next day you're with McJesus, you're with Draisaitl, you're with all those guys, right? So just walk me through your mindset walking into that dressing room for the first time.
I still sit here with the biggest smile on my face. So after the call up and you finally get to Edmonton, it's like 11:30 at night, and I didn't eat anything all day because I was traveling. So I ordered some room service. By the time I think I fell asleep, it was probably 3:30 in the morning, because I couldn't believe that I was there. And then I was up at 7:30 to walk over to the rink around 8:10. And when I first walked into the rink, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where I was walking into or anything like that. And I was fortunate enough to walk over with Kaylor Yamamoto.
Yep.
Because he was in the hotel at the time and he was going to get treatment. And I had texted him the night before. I was like, hey, dude, mind if I walk over with you? I don't know where I'm going, whatever. And he's like, dude, no problem, man. So he had walked me over and walked in, and the training staff acted as if I was there the entire time, and so did the players. And that was the really cool part. Because everyone sees each other in training camp and stuff, and, you guys speak, talk, and stuff like that. And when I walked in, everyone's like, hey, Gambo, how are you? Welcome, congrats, all this, that. And so it was, really cool, you walk in, you see your name on an NHL, stall headboard, and you're just like, holy cow, this is the real deal. I'm sitting next to Cam Talbot, Alex Chason, and being in the same room with, like you said, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, Chris Russell, Clefbot, the whole not everybody. And you're just like, holy cow, this is the real deal. I'm not playing NHL 19 right now. I'm actually playing the real deal. And I remember my first morning skate, it was an optional skate. And there were about 8 or 9 guys that had stepped out, Yamamoto being one of them. And he was, I think he was a big reason as to why I was brought up, is because he had a wrist issue. And they weren't sure if he could go or not. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go out for morning skate, see how it feels, and maybe I'll warm up and go from there. And I had told him, I was like, dude, you got to do me a favor. I was like, because my heart is beating. I was like, if you can't go, you got to tell me a morning skate. I can't wait till tonight. Just please let me know. And he stepped on the ice and he said his wrist wasn't feeling good at all. So I knew right away. I was like, all right, I didn't have any other extras at the moment. So I was like, all right, unless we're going to roll with 7D, that I'm going to get my shot. And right after the game, practice, they pulled me aside and said, Joe, you playing tonight? And I was through the roof. And my fiance was already on the plane out. She was coming regardless if I was playing or not. She took that whole big spiel, 12-hour travel day, and landed at 3:30, got to see me for 5 minutes before I went out to go to the game. And then people ask me now, what is the moment? What is it like? When did you get your welcome to the NHL moment? And for me, it was the solo lap.
Yeah.
You have no helmet on, and you get to walk through from the back of the line all the way to the front, and all the guys hitting you on your bottom and tapping you on the shoulder, and you get to walk out in front of a Rogers Arena, and you're just like, holy cow, no bucket on, and that smile I had on my face is the same smile every time I talk about it. I get goosebumps, and the welcome to the NHL moment. And as you know, the story that goes behind it, my brother had graduated from the NYPD Academy. And so that was a very special day for the Gambardella family. And I was extremely happy that I got to share with my fiance as well.
That's definitely a lifetime, or a memory to last a lifetime. And like you said, it's interesting how you said, you're kind of almost in awe of the people around you in the dressing room. And I think it's tough for a lot of athletes in their first call up to snap out of that, because you don't want to be in awe the whole time, right? Like, you got at some point, you got to click in and say, I deserve to be here. Like this, right. I deserve this shot. I'm going to go take advantage of it.
And that's something that Draisaitl had done, honestly. When so we were all joking around when I was getting dressed and stuff like that before I even stepped on the ice for warm up. We're getting dressed, and guys, Cassian had said to me, "Congrats, Gambo," and McDavid's like, "Oh, he didn't step on the ice yet." Like, so, just to kind of loosen the nerves, honestly. And some people think like they take that as like a chirp or a joke, but like it's just something to kind of make you feel welcome. I grew up with the fact that if people aren't giving you a hard time, then you're not well liked. And so to hear that, I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, and then after my first shift, I kind of settled in. I didn't play much my first game, but after my first shift, I was like, all right, I stepped on the ice with these guys. Now I know that I belong out here. I can play here. And my first shift, I made a hit just to get myself into the game. And right away, like, that's when the nerves kind of like fluctuated away and stuff. And I'll never forget Leon Draisaitl texting me after the game. It made me feel extremely, extremely welcomed. Gambo, like, you played extremely hard. Like, you belong up here. You did a great job. Keep doing your thing, man. Like, you're one of us. We're a family. Like, just because like you got called up doesn't mean anything. Like, just keep working and stuff like that. Don't be nervous. And to me, like, that went a really long way with me.
Yeah.
I was extremely happy and blessed that he had done that. And then after your first game settled in and stuff, then my dad finally got to come out and watch me play. And, that makes things a little easier. Then we went back to the West Coast to take the West Coast trip with San Jose, LA, Anaheim, Coyotes. And you just feel more comfortable as it goes along. You get to know the guys. You start going out to dinners with the guys. You're hanging around. You're around a lot more. And then I got sent back down to my second call up. It was like I never left. Mm-hmm. I walked into the Coyotes dressing room and it was like, hey, Gambo, welcome back. Like it's like you never leave. And I think the organization does a really good job of making people feel at home, feel welcome, because as you said, like, yes, you have the wow factor, but you're also there to do a job. So as much as it is like you get the wow factor for the first time, you have to eventually sink in and say, okay, this is my job. I belong here. Like, this is what they brought me on for. So at some point that has to click in, and unfortunately it did.
That Draisaitl story, I think, goes a long way to show how important team chemistry is. We talked about it a lot already with your time at UMass and UMass-Lowell and stuff like that. But, you see it all the time. There's so many upsets in hockey in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, most notable example is like Columbus. I think they swept Tampa Bay last year, was it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hockey isn't played on paper. It's that team chemistry, that team bond that really plays a role on the ice. And, when somebody like Draisaitl, he probably makes that up with a lot of teammates, making sure everybody feels at home and everything. And that goes a long way to having the team buy-in mentality so you guys can get to your goal of winning the Stanley Cup or the championship, whatever it is.
100% does. And it's because of guys like that Edmonton is a very successful organization, that they bring guys on board that are good at keeping the team chemistry at its highest peak and keeping everybody together instead of having groups per se. Like,
yeah. Before I have a little game I like to play on this podcast. Before we get to it, I want to give you a chance to plug in Stride to Greatness. I know it's a project you're working on. I've seen your social media posts on it and everything. There you go. Explain for the viewers a bit, how it started, what your goal is with that and everything like that.
So Stride to Greatness, when I was in college, I didn't have a summer job. I was doing pretty much anything I could. My dad's electrical company. I was trying to pick up hours, just something to put some money in my pocket. And a family friend had said that this kid, Franco Caminiti, was looking to get better at hockey and didn't have anywhere to go and didn't have much money to spend. And they said, would you be willing to train him? And I was like, I never trained anybody before. And they're like, that's all right. He just wants to be around like someone who knows what they're talking about, knows what they're doing. And I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. Charge him a very, very minimum price. And my first session with him, like, we hit it off and something clicked in my head. I was like, wow, oh my God, like, this is amazing. Like, is this what it feels like to help the youth and the younger kids? And that next season, my fiance, after college, my fiance had said, Joe, why don't you, you love doing it with the kids. Why don't you open up a company and be able to do this in the summer? Let this be your foundation, something you could help the kids with, let them have something to look forward to in the summers. And right from there, I opened it up, applied for the LLC. I'd gotten it, and every summer I'd come home and my list would grow. I went from 1 kid to 10 kids, and then 10 moved to like 40, and now I have over 175 members registered with Stride to Greatness.
Wow.
And to be able to come back home in the summers and do camps at multiple rinks and see different kids and work with different age groups on a daily basis, it's something that I really take a lot of pride and joy in. Growing up, I never had the opportunity to skate with a professional player often. If it did, it was once in a blue moon. I remember Alexei Kasatonov from the 1980 gold medal team from Russia. He would come out to Staten Island and skate us every once in a while. But I wanted these kids to be able to look up to something and relate to something and say, wow, like, you know what, like this kid wants to give back. He wants to be around us. And I'm trying to build the brand to show people that, 1, anything is possible. And 2, that no matter where you are in life, you got to remember your roots and always give back when you can. And that's what I want to show these kids, that like, just because I'm a professional athlete, like with the Oilers organization, doesn't mean that I can't have time to spend with you guys and help you develop your game and make you guys the best player of yourselves. And while our staff were involved with not only teaching them aspects of hockey, but aspects of life, a lot of the things that we teach them apply to all around life as a whole. And the last few years, I usually run 6 to 7 camps a summer, straight full week camps out of a bunch of different arenas. The one that I'm based out of is ProTech Ice Arena in Somerset, New Jersey, where they actually named 2 of the rinks after me.
Wow.
It's called the Joe Gambardella Training Center, and we're in the works of making it Stride to Greatness Training Center, owned by Joe Gambardella. Just because I'm not trying to grow myself, I'm trying to grow the brand. I'll always be around to help these kids as long as I live. I want to be involved and around the sport. Hockey's not going to last forever. Every day I could wake up, it's a blessing to get to put on the skates. And one day, everybody will tell you, unfortunately, it's just going to end. And for me, I don't want it to be over fully. I want to be able to be involved and teach these kids all the lessons that I'm learning at such a higher level, and all the lessons I've learned throughout it, to be able to give back to them. And that's what Stride to Greatness is pretty much all about. We have a bunch of different staff, from college athletes, junior athletes, U18, and then pro athletes as well, just so we can show the kids, like, hey, you know what, like, you're trying to get to juniors, talk to this coach right here. You know, you want to get to college, talk to this coach. You want to be a pro, talk to him. Like, we're here to help these kids and advise them and guide them in the right direction. And and for me, that's a huge attribute, is what Stride to Greatness is all about. And every year we're very blessed that we have successful camps of 6 to 7 weeks worth of camps, that we have over 175 clients.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, man. After we're done here, shoot me some links to that. I'd love to help out or contribute any way I can. It's such a good project you got going on there.
I appreciate that tremendously. I really do. It means a lot.
Like I said, I got a little game we like to play here. I have a collection of sports psychology quotes. Mm-hmm. Expand a bit. I got 17 now. If I let you pick a number between 1 and 17, I'll read you the quote, and then just reflect on it a bit. Tell me what it means to you on your career and all that stuff.
Between 1 and 17?
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with my number 5.
Number 5. This is a good one. This is a popular one. And being from where you are, I don't know if you're going to love this guy or hate this guy, but this is from Tom Brady. And he said, if you don't believe... I went to school in
Boston, so I like Tom.
There you go. He said, if you don't believe in yourself, why is anyone else going to believe in you?
Wow. That is a really good one, honestly. And I think to reflect on that and to respond to that is, anything in life that you do, it starts with you. You can't rely on anybody else. You can't look for anybody else. Yes, you could ask for guidance, but at the end of the day, it comes down to one person only, and that's yourself. You got to be willing to believe in yourself day in and day out, because then there are people in this world that don't believe in you. There's people that are going to knock you. And for me, every knock is a motivation. There's going to be people that put you down. It's up to you to rise above it and get up every day with the mindset that you're going to attack the day. You're going to do what you need to do to make yourself better. I'm going to do what I need to do to make Joe Gambardella better today. And if I don't believe in myself, how could I invest in somebody to believe in me? You know, and it's like a stock. I tell people all the time, like people ask me about stock market, things like that. Like, you want to invest into a stock, but you get a phone call from a guy who's on Wall Street you've never met before. And how you expect to find it? Because that guy believes in himself. He believes that he could turn your X amount of dollars into X amount of profit. If I don't believe in myself, how am I going to get you to believe my goals and my hopes and my dreams that I'm going to be able to do what I need to in order to achieve them or work myself into the ground to get a fraction of a bit closer to it? So I like that quote a lot.
Yeah. A lot of the hockey players, younger hockey players that I coach or consult with, I tell them, you know, I'm only here really as like a guide to you guys. And the motivation has to come from within. You have to have that belief in yourself that you can get better and you can improve your play, because I can't force you to do anything. That belief has to really come from within.
Right. And it's as true as you telling them as it is to the same way I tell my kids to strive to greatness. And there's things in life that you can teach, but they have to be, one, coachable, but more importantly, they need to be motivated to do it. You know, there's days where guys wake up and they're like, oh, I don't want to be at the rink. I don't want to shoot pucks. Okay, I'm not going to force you to. Just you can walk out the door, like tell mom and dad you don't want to shoot today, and you let me know when you're ready to fully attain and be ready to get 1% better. And that's what's something that I am preaching all the kids every time. First day of camp, first day of summer training sessions, where I do private and semi-private training sessions. With everyone involved, I say, okay, like, this is day one of the summer. Your parents are given this X amount, and you need to be able to say you want to be here every day. Because if you don't, I will gladly give your parents their money back, and I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time as well. You guys want to be here, I'm glad to help you guys. But if you can't be motivated to get here, I can't be motivated to teach you.
Exactly. And that's a lesson not only applicable to sports, but life in general. Really, I think that's why it's so important for kids to play sports, because you get so many life lessons like that you normally wouldn't get the opportunity to experience in other facets of life. So I really like how you put that.
100%, man. I couldn't agree more.
Last thing here, I got a couple rapid fire questions for you.
Sure.
You've been in quarantine for a long time here, so I got to know what are some shows you're binge watching nowadays?
Ozark was one of them. I got really hooked on the Ozark.
Yeah.
The Outer Banks. That's another one. And what was the other one that I had started watching not too long ago? I rewatched Entourage like probably about twice.
Nice.
Entourage is my top favorite one. And Blue Bloods. It's a NYPD show.
Yeah.
So just ones like that. But Ozark, I'm finally all caught up, and now I got to wait for the new one to come out, unfortunately. And then I watch one every Sunday with my fiance, just 90 Day Fiance.
I got that hooked up too.
Do you?
It's my little Vice show that I got on. Don't tell anybody I watch it, but it's hard TV to pass up on.
Yeah, we get a kick out of it. And,
oh yeah.
It's something that we get to watch because again, she works on the front line, so I don't get to see her too often. And when I do, it's something that we'll throw on together.
Yeah, no, I love that show, man. Obviously, another quarantine question for you. You guys have a new snack or a favorite snack you've been munching on these past couple months?
I wouldn't say it's new, but it's definitely something that's come back into play with me since I've graduated middle school. Fruit roll-ups.
Oh, classics.
I have not had those probably since middle school. And Jenna had bought them about a month ago. Yeah. And now I get like a new package like once every 2 weeks of Fruit by the Foot fruit roll-ups.
Yeah. Like we said, you're a Goomba, you're Italian, so I got to ask you a bit of an Italian cliche question. Pasta or pizza? Which one are you taking?
Oh, God. Pizza.
Pizza, eh?
Yeah. I'm big pizza, especially living out on the West Coast. The pizza is not exactly New York style. To me, not just because I'm from New York. I've had pizza all over the world. And New York by far has the best pizza.
I've been to New York a couple of times, and I can't remember the name of the pizza. I think it's called Bleecker Street Pizza. I had when I was there. Mm-hmm. That was good. That was good pizza. And also a couple of years ago, me and my buddy took a trip to Chicago. We had some deep dish pizza there. That was unreal.
Yeah. When I drove back home With Jenna, we stopped in Chicago to get deep dish pizza we drove from California. Yeah. How about you? You pizza, pasta?
I'd probably have to say pasta.
Fair enough. I totally understand why.
If my nonna gets me some pasta fagioli in front of me, that whole thing is going to be gone in 2 minutes. So I can't pass that up.
That's fair.
Growing up, what was your favorite hockey team that you're cheering for?
New York Rangers.
New York Rangers. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who they had back then. Was Messier on the team when you were watching them?
Messier. Kid on my team in Bakersfield, Luke Esposito, was actually the nephew of Mark Messier.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. Adam Graves,
Brian Leach.
Brian Leach was around then. Alexei Kovalev, and I was born in '93, and my brother was at the Stanley Cup game. They won in '94.
Crazy.
So, and he was only 5 or 6 years old at the time.
Crazy. Another throwback question here. I'm born in '93 as well, so we kind of grew up in, I like to call it the golden era of NHL threads. Some great vintage jerseys back then. What are some of your favorite vintage jerseys from that back in the day?
Vancouver's got a cool one. I like the Vancouver, the black one.
Black, red, and yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm definitely like high up on that one. That's a nice one. The old school Islander jerseys. Where they got like the green teal on like the side of it.
Okay, that's a bit of a hard pick there.
Yeah.
Especially as a Rangers fan.
Yeah. And then obviously you have the Rangers, the old blue shirt one, the one that actually has the logo on it, the one that the goal that Merrick Malik scored when he did to the legs, where it had the Liberty, the Liberty sign on it.
Yeah.
Those are probably some favorites of mine that I liked growing up.
Nice. I always have a soft spot for that old Dallas jersey where it has like the kind of like the star outline at the front.
Oh yeah.
Because playing hockey, the first team I played for in house league was like the Stars. They would give us each like NHL team, so that one holds a special place in my heart. I always like to bring that one up.
That's cool though.
Yeah. Last question here. Who do you think would be a good guest on the podcast? Someone you know that's got a strong mental game that you think would be cool to chop it up with?
There's a few people I could definitely recommend for this. Good friend of mine, Brad Malone. Plays Bakersfield, was in the NHL for years. Really good guy, really good veteran in the league, and somebody who he could pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's good when it comes into conversation. Good when it comes to debates. Good when it comes. He's a fun guy to have on. You pick his brain a little bit, and you'll really find out some interesting facts.
Yeah. If you got a plug, then man, I appreciate that.
I will reach out to him and be more than happy to see if he's interested, and I'll send him over. If you could message me your number, and because I don't think he has Instagram, but I can message him your number and get in touch with him.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Again, Joe, I appreciate you taking some time today, man. We talked a lot about the mental side of hockey, and I wish you the best of luck in the seasons and career to come. We'll have to do this again sometime because I'm sure there'll be lots of things to talk about as coronavirus ends and hockey starts up again. Excited for your stride to greatness. You guys are growing really big, and big things, of course, are going to be coming with that. And last thing I'll say is hope that your friends and family and everybody stays safe and healthy, as hopefully this thing wraps up soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Adam. Thank you so much for having me. First off, I enjoyed it. It was a blast to be on. I had a terrific time, and I hope you, your friends, your family, everybody stays safe and healthy throughout all these difficult times. And we hope for brighter days, and it seems like we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel.
For sure.
Let's hope that we're able to pull through.
For sure, man. Anyways, man, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right, Adam. Have a good one, man.
All right, ciao.
Bye-bye.